So, as Dr. Mahesh explained, presented in the morning, I am also belongs to the CSR family of CSR labs, and okay, now present today's. You are changing. Okay, okay, wait. So, synthesis of advanced ceramic materials, and just a minute. When Dr. Madam Vishalakshi asked me, thought how I will present for chemistry students. Even though I am MSc chemistry, I did. Then I almost very little I worked in chemistry, and then went on materials, dental materials, and then went on ceramics, and ceramics for aeronautical or structural or high temperature ceramic materials. And because of my dental background, I had the opportunity to start some new activity on biomaterials or bioceramic materials in National Aerospace Laboratories as well as in Tata Institute, Indian Institute of Science. So my further studies happened almost 40, 60 or 50, 50 of bioceramics and structural ceramics. So now for the chemistry, this is second time I am standing here. In 2000, I believe 6, Dr. Professor Shivaram Hulla, in the retiring that fest was there. I have been asked to present a talk on that. So some of my work I presented during that time. This is second opportunity. Thank you once again. So first part of my talk, that is tomorrow I have one more presentation. So first part I thought that I will present on some synthesis of ceramic materials, some aspects or basic chemistry used in synthesizing or preparing ceramic materials. That maybe highlight you or will give you an opportunity to think what we can do with the chemistry background. Next. So before going to the subject, I have been asked to give a brief introduction about our laboratory. As Dr. Mahesh told, there are 38 or 39 labs throughout India. National Aerospace Laboratory is one of them. In Karnataka, there is one more CSR lab, CFTRI, Central Food Research Institute in Mysore. And Kerala is there, Trivandrum, Chennai, and other places, Jamshedpur, Durgapur, Kolkata, Delhi, Pune, etc. So coming to that CSIR, NAL, so only government aerospace R&D laboratory in the country, civilian sector, established in 1959. So major R&D disciplines are listed here. It may be difficult to explain everything now. It is a whole. I also am not expert in many fields. There is a brochure of NAL CSIR. So I will hand over 2-3 copies to your department. So you can make use of it. Also, as well as you can go to the website of NAL, nal.res.in. There you will get the what NAL is doing, what is its future, etc. So next. So here the major significant contribution to Indian aerospace from NAL is, one is the Hamsa 2-seater aircraft. 50 aircraft has been built and 4 are flying presently. The Saras is the next 14-seater multi-role light transport aircraft and designed and built by NAL, and Indian Air Force is expected to be the customer for this. And CNM5 in the series, third one, is the 5-seater civil aviation aircraft, collaboration with Mahindra Aerospace Private Limited. First test flight happened in 2011. The fourth one is the for future thing. Next. So these are some of the pictures from the. Which one? No. 70 capacity is our objective. 65 to 70. And from the brochure itself, I have abstracted some of the things just to highlight. So one of the test facilities, acoustic test facility, all the satellites of the ISRO has been tested here for ultrasound testing, vibration and the withstanding, whether the components will withstand that ultra acoustic waves. And that now with the collaboration, NAL has made a project and built the test facility for ISRO itself. And here the MEAV micro air vehicles and UA unmanned air vehicle programs are going on in NAL. Then composites designed and fabricated in NAL. Next. And new technologies, one of the Drishti, this is the visibility measurement equipment, fast acting transmissometer to measure the visibility in the airport. So these systems have been installed in a few airports, and this is issued an international class 1 certification. This is Electronic group actually is a part of the material science department. Now they have become a separate center. And our earlier HOD, Dr. Shubha and Dr. Ramesh were the leading persons in developing this Drishti. And other radome fabrication, development and fabrication and of the radomes, radar domes, covering of the dome radar, that electromagnetic transparent material it should be, that is one of the thing. And we had one project on ceramic radomes also with the DRDL Hyderabad, and a few years before I was part of that project. Then this is the high speed combustor or propulsion division. Then Drishti I have already. Next. And here the trisonic wind tunnel to test the aerospace models, aeronautic models, the wind flow surrounding the models. That test facility is there. And industrial grade, this has been designed, developed, and now technology has been transferred. Autoclaves. Very big autoclave, about 350 degree centigrade capacity and high pressure of 15 bars. Then the simulator, flight simulator. Then full scale fatigue test facility. Next. Then coming to the societal problems, NAL was some group or part of some divisions work on the societal problems. One is the Varsha software to that is for weather prediction. Parallel computing, with the parallel computing, the weather prediction has been done. This software has been developed. This is used by the Karnataka government and other departments also. Then coming to the energy, alternative energy, morning we have seen. The wind tunnel department, there is a department called CSMST, Societal Missions Programs. So one is the wind energy group. And this is the air ferry system recently developed by one of the group here. Next. Coming to the division, our department, materials and department is one of the department having about 30-40 scientists there, and this is very part of the maybe 5% of the whole NAL. NAL having around 1,400, above 1,400 staff members, including maybe around 250 to 300 scientists. So this material science becomes a part. Again, we have a multidisciplinary. One small group is working on one material, another small group is working on another material. We have some repetition is going on within the division, within NAL, within our CSR labs. Now last few years we have a network projects, like for example CIRI Chennai or CGCRI Kolkata, we can combine, we do collaborative projects. Presently we are handling few of such projects also. Coming to the division, we have a functional materials group. They work on smart materials or like PZT, PLZT or leadless materials without lead. And smart structures group, characterization facilities like SEM, high temperature mechanical properties like flexural strength, tensile strength, and then chemical vapor infiltration. For ceramic composites, my colleague Dr. Uday Kumar is leading that group. I have a project with him in his group. And high temperature materials, one Dr. Rangraj is leading that group, and shape memory alloys metallurgy group is working on that. Then failure analysis and accident investigation, our present head Dr. Baumik, SK Baumik, he is leading that group. All the failure analysis will be done and investigations are done mainly for aerospace and also some industrial like our MRPL. So many components what have been failed there, it has been investigated. What is the reason for the failure, etc. They are investigating. Then in fact a small group only working on biomaterials. As I already told, I have started some work, and that now we have a project, network project with another lab called CGCRI Kolkata and another IICB. IICB supposed to do the biological testing for the materials or components what we develop. Next. Now coming to the presentation today is, the scheme of presentation will be like this. First I would like to introduce you what is ceramic. All of you know, you are handling every day, you are using the ceramic, one or the other products, but generally we don't know what is ceramics. Then applications of advanced ceramics. Why advanced ceramics? The ceramic people, I am also not basically ceramist, I am made into ceramic. Ceramics, there are diploma in ceramics in Karnataka 2 places and only 1 place in Gulbarga, engineering degree is there. In Tamil Nadu 2 places, engineering degree is there. In Anna University ceramics is going on. diploma, one in Bangalore and another is in Murdeshwara. So, but all the chemistry background, physics background and material science background people can work, most of the people work on, one part is polymers and organic materials, another part work on ceramics, ceramic materials. But still I understand that few years before we had some students from here also for the project. They will not know even basic what is ceramic, very difficult. Unless ceramic background degree or diploma, other students will not be knowing. So we classify it as traditional or conventional ceramics, and another is advanced ceramics. That I will tell what is it. Then how ceramic products are manufactured, how a product of the ceramic can be made. The shaping, it has to be shaped into a particular form, and then how we can get actually the product. There is a long process to make the product. I am trying to touch upon that aspects. Then under that making the product, first we should have a starting material for a product. For a tile, for example, tiles is one of the product, but where is the material? So we have to, some of the materials are available in the mines, from the mines maybe, especially traditional ceramics, but we have to synthesize, or we can synthesize in the laboratory some high-end product, starting materials for high-end products. So some of the synthetic aspects of ceramics, conventional and novel approach, and some of the reactions, some of the methods I am just touching upon, and in each method giving one example, one material to synthesize and how to, where it is used or how it can be characterized. Then solid state reactions, precipitation method, solution combustion method, reaction bonding or nitridation of silicon, carbothermal reduction, hydrothermal reactions, and conclusions what we can. Now coming to ceramics, what are ceramics? Ceramics are one of the first material invented by man or human civilization. That is nothing but clay. So these are clay based minerals, naturally occurring clay based materials are ceramics. But what are those chemically? Chemically, ceramics are made of silicates or aluminosilicates, Al2O3 SiO2, Al2O3 SiO2. It may be 3Al2O3 2SiO2, Al2O3 SiO2, 2Al2O3 1SiO2, like that. Different compositions are there, different mineral compositions are there. So these are the materials like sillimanite, bentonite, etc., or kaolinite, montmorillonite, etc. First and the oldest material discovered by man and used for centuries by human civilization. Because we know pot making from centuries, mankind, human being is using these pots, clay pots. Then how these are made? Made plastic by mixing water. The clay is mixed with the water, made into plastic mass, a dough type, and that is shaped. Molded means shaping, molding, shaping into different forms, and they are dried in sunlight, and then hardened in kilns. Kilns means high temperature ovens, or we call it as furnaces. That hardened in kilns at high temperature, that's called firing traditionally, or when we use advanced ceramics, we call it as sintering. And word ceramics comes from Greek word keramos, means burnt clay. Keramos means burnt clay. So the burnt clay is the basic material of ceramics. How they are made? Mixing with water, shaping and firing at high temperature. Any of you have seen making the clay pots in villages near, in Bangalore it is there. In your near our place, Puttur, that side, I have not visited, I wanted to visit sometime, it is there. Then tiles, Mangalore Hanchu, Mangalore tiles are nothing but ceramics, basic example. Then bricks, ಇಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಿಂದ ಪುತ್ತೂರು ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ತು, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜನ ಮನೆ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು ಮೊದಲು, ಇಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. That is nothing but ceramics. Why I am telling is to draw your attention that it is nothing but new. Basically we are using bricks, tiles, and now ceramic tiles. These are modernized or advanced ceramics we call it. Same raw materials but with the purification, with the better processing, making its particle size may be smaller or more uniform, and adding some required components such that its properties increased, better properties we will get. It can withstand high wear resistance, or it can have a high strength, like that. Next. So these are, now I already explained you the figures. Tiles and artware, roofing tiles, clay pipes, bricks, tableware, dinnerware, artware, sanitary ware, porcelain. If you go to a toilet, there ceramic is there. If you go to a bathroom, ceramic is there. These are ceramic tiles. And definitely in Mangalore side, we have more, at least 50% now, I believe, I don't know. It is coming down. And while Mangalore to Konaje were coming, Uttar Padav, there was a tile industry. Every time I used to say, but I didn't know about ceramics at that time when I was coming to chemistry MSc. Next. Then what are advanced ceramics then? What is ceramics? What is traditional ceramics? What is advanced ceramics? Traditional is clay-based ceramics made of aluminosilicates, aluminum oxide and silicon oxide. But during the 19th century or after 19th century, advanced processes have been developed to refine the naturally occurring minerals. These clay-based materials from the mines, they used to bring the different minerals and break it and then mix with water and make a binder or then make a shape and then heat it at high temperature to get the product. But the refining has been taken place. Not only that, new materials were synthesized. Maybe chemists like you or physicists, they have did research and started the development in science has introduced new materials into the category of ceramics. So in the new terminology, it is not new now. I was telling the same thing when I started working in 1990, ceramics also new material. But still that word, these are inorganic, non-metallic materials. So advanced ceramics are, make it point, sometimes I will try to stress some points, try to write, it will help you later. Advanced ceramic materials are inorganic materials or non-metallic materials. They are not clay-based materials. They are non-metallic materials or inorganic materials. So so what are those materials? Maybe oxides like alumina, zirconia. Zirconium oxide is zirconia, cerium oxide. Here morning Dr. Mahesh was telling about fuel cells. There is oxide, solid oxide fuel cell, ceria, zirconia, the materials are used. Just to link, I'm telling you. Magnesium aluminates, carbides like silicon carbide. You know emery paper. You are using the emery paper. There is a black and white. The white is aluminosilicate or glass material, and black one is silicon carbide. Silicon carbide fine powders are coated on the paper. That is silicon carbide. Boron carbide, nitrate, silicon nitrate, aluminum nitrate, used for high temperature applications or wear applications. Then phosphates like calcium phosphates. I am not very sure whether, but people are call it as ceramics, calcium phosphates, because bioceramics, that specific application of calcium phosphate is bioceramic, and other composites of all these things. Then these are how these products are made from these materials. Oxides, aluminum oxide, zirconium oxide, how we can make the shape. Basically the method is same, like making the powder. First we have to get powder form, fine particles, powder form. Then it has to be mixed with some water or some other liquid medium to make it a paste form, then made into a shape, then heated at high temperature. That's called calcining, firing or sintering. We get the hard body. Why we have to follow that, I will come back in the next slides. So these are also processed, shaped and fired and are sintered at high temperature. So finally the advanced ceramics are nothing but due to the advanced synthesis process, processing, shaping as well as sintering or consolidation. The powder, from powder we should get a shape like this. For example, a tile, you have to get a tile, means from the powder it should be consolidated, densified into a particular shape. Next. So these materials, oxides, non-oxides like carbides, nitrates will have different applications. Why these have different applications? They have a specific properties. Properties can be tuned such that it can be used for high temperature applications like engine, hot part of the engine, or it can be a thread guide. Textile industry will have a thread guide. It has a high wear resistance. Wear resistance. It should not get weared off faster. It has a high wear resistance. Corrosion resistance. This compared to metals, ceramics have higher corrosion resistance. Thermal properties like thermal and electrical properties. These applications in electric ceramics or electron ceramics or battery applications, inorganic materials. Then hardness and toughness. Ceramics are generally brittle materials compared to plastics or metals. It will, if you drop the glass is also considered as part of glass and ceramics. People study together. A tile, if you drop it, it will break. But the toughness can be increased by reinforcing fine particles or some methods. Toughening mechanisms are there. That's a different subject. So it can be made tough also. Like zirconia is one of the toughest ceramic material. Then biocompatibility. Some of the materials, ceramic materials, are compatible with the body structure. It can be used inside the body as implant material or bone fillers or for tissue engineering applications, even drug delivery applications. Some of the ceramics, specifically calcium phosphate, but aluminum oxide, zirconium oxide are used for implants, knee joints, etc. So these are the various industries where they can be used and various properties. Next. So here again, it may be slightly repetitive what I am telling, but trying to, if you are able to catch up some points, it may be good. Again, here classified the applications as aerospace, maybe a space shuttle. You know, in the space shuttle, tiles are made of silica or silica composites. Then thermal barrier coatings. In the engines, the metal, because of the strength, and metal has to be used or alloy has to be used as a main component. But it doesn't have a thermal bearing capacity or wear resistance. It will get corroded. So ceramic is coated on that as it is called a thermal barrier. Zirconia is one of the best thermal barrier coating material. And high temperature windows, fuel cells, again solid oxide fuel cells. Consumer uses glass, windows, pottery, magnets, dinnerware, ceramic tiles, lenses, home electronics, microwave. In many places ceramics are used. Communication, fiber optics, laser communications, etc. Next. Then automotive, catalytic converters. This is one of the major application of ceramic. In Bangalore there is one, you might have heard about BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. They do insulators mainly for electrical applications. Insulators, whatever in the electric pole, that is ceramic. It is long process is there to make that. There is one advanced ceramic unit called Ceramic Institute of Technology in BHEL Bangalore. They work on various aspects. There is catalytic converter is one of the thing, and ceramic filters. Even ceramics are used for bacteria filters, high temperature filters. So it has wide application. Some may not be the same material. And now new techniques like nanofibers, nanoparticles, nanopores. Using that technology, ceramics can be made use of wider range of applications. Rotors, valves, spark plugs in a scooter. You know, every one of you know about spark plug. Their white portion is made of aluminum oxide. Then computers, resistors, capacitors. Morning we heard, and we are going to listen more about electroceramics, electromaterial, electrical and electronics, and magnetic materials, and military armors. Armaments or armors. I was telling about toughness. I could not get that word. Previous slide. So ceramics are made as a shielding, armor shielders like that, like carbides, boron carbides, etc. Okay, this one. Then medical. I was telling about medical application. Artificial eye. This artificial eyeball made of a ceramic material, calcium phosphate. In CGCRI Calcutta, they have developed this technology, they transferred this technology, they implanted it into the human being. And as per my understanding, the movement, if the patient is having one eye, correctly, one eye ball has been by injury or by accident gone. And this ball is fixing that, and movement of that also exactly, if he is seeing this side, this is moving this side, that also will move this side. That much achievement they have achieved till now. As per my understanding, the sensing, electronic sensing is the next step. And some implants here. Then this is the, from internet of course, this is a porous structure called scaffold. Within that, cell has been grown. That is for tissue engineering applications. This is the artificial scaffold made. Then other industries like bricks, cement, etc. is there. This gives you one picture, gives so many differently shaped particles and different materials. This is from actually, when I visited Japan, they have given so many pamphlets, and in that one of the fine ceramics lab, they had this, they made all this. This is available in the internet also. Just to highlight you, draw your attention that so many applications are there, ceramics. Just if some of you say that, okay, ceramics are these materials after the lecture or after some time, at least that much is good. Okay, I made you to understand that ceramics is one of the important material. Now, how these ceramics are made, I explained in the beginning a little bit. Then traditional, now we have seen that ceramics, there are traditional ceramics, advanced ceramics, oxides, non-oxides, advanced ceramics. They are inorganic materials. And there are a lot of applications, biomedical, aerospace, high temperature, electronic, chemical, etc. How these are made into a shape, product. I have shown you the previous slide, so many shapes. Just show the previous slide. How to make this shape? Because I have been introduced into ceramic area for my research to make some shape. That's why I have trained in this way. I am covering this type of topic. How to make it? For a chemistry MSc person or for any basic science person, it is very difficult to understand how to make this. We don't know engineering aspects or manufacturing. Next. So basically, as I told, clay-based materials, they are made, plastic mass made, molded into different shapes. And then using some type of machines called jiggering and jollying, they use some type of plate-like shapes, etc. But it is all made from a plastic mass. This is hand molding, we can say. Later on I will say this is also called, we can call it as additive shaping, additive manufacturing. Because the ball of clay balls made with water are added little by little, and without the proper mold, only hand is used to make the shape. Next. That is traditional method. But for advanced method like a sparkler component or engine component or biomedical component, how to make? Here, you know that metals are generally, metallic products are made by melting, right? It will be melted at 1000 degree, 1100 degree, 1200 degree or whatever it is. Or the alloy will have a lower melting point and they will pour into the mold. Mold is nothing but a negative of the positive what we are supposed to get. To get this shape, there should be some mold. It is made by called blow molding. A molten plastic is blown into the mold. Then there it is cooled so that we will get a thin shape, bottle-like shape. If you want to solid, it has to be pressed. I am coming to that. But metals are made by melting. Polymers or plastics also made by melting. But ceramics cannot be done by the same method. It has high temperature melting point. Generally very high melting point of ceramics. And some of the ceramics like silicon carbide, silicon nitride, if you heat it to 1400 degree, it will decompose. Silicon carbide will decompose into silicon dioxide, it will get oxidized. Silicon oxide, carbon will go as carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. So, polymers and metals are melting and costly, but ceramics, because of high melting, a new approach has to be followed. These are followed by 4 stages. First, we should have a powder particle, small particles, powders in the powder form. That should be processed and made into a, during the process, they should make into uniform distribution of the particles. And there should not be any foreign material, being third material, or any inclusion, pores, etc. Then it is forming or shaping. uniformly consolidated. The particles are put together so that it will have a shape of the pen or some rod shape or simply some disc shape like that. Then it has to be heated at high temperature called sintering. Then these particles by solid state diffusion or some partially maybe liquid phase sometimes diffusion, the grains will join together. It will become a dense body like this. There is no gap or pores inside the body. So these 4 stages of processing are very important. Advanced ceramic materials are processed by powder preparation, processing and shaping, firing or sintering, and then machining and evaluation or characterization of the properties. Generally, machining has to be avoided because ceramics are very hard material. It cannot be machined. Diamond machining is required, or for cutting also diamond cutting machine is required, and it is not cost effective, highly costly, so expensive. So one has to minimize the machining. To minimize the machining, if I want a curved shape like a bottle shape or solid structure or this hollow structure of the ceramics, if I have to machine all this one, it is very difficult. I can't cast, I can't make a mold like this and pour the ceramic, melt and pour it. I can't get it. Then how to do it? There are different methods to do that. So basically, powder, we start from powder, we go to the product. Now today I am addressing about how to get this powder, synthesis of this powder. And in the next lecture I will try to process and make the shape. In fact, sintering I am not touching much. The separate lecture has to be taken in detail. So 4 stages: powder, processing. The in between the stage is called the green body. We call it as green body because here temperature is not involved still, it is in the room temperature and it is very brittle, very soft. Okay, next. Now coming to first step is to make the powder. I want you have a ceramic cup in your house definitely. Everybody will have teacups. To make that, we want a powder. Of course, teacup is made of, we can't call it as advanced or we can't call it as traditional. It is an advanced process or modern process to use the available aluminosilicate materials. To make a material, okay, now I will ask you, chemistry, you might have definitely gone through, how you synthesize the material. First slide is already there. Anybody can say, what are the methods used to synthesize a material? I want calcium oxide. How you synthesize? I want magnesium oxide. Simple. Or I want silicon dioxide. I don't know. Even you can tell organic material. Synthesis. What route you use? How you synthesize? Or any different methods to synthesize? You take A plus B gives C, chemical reaction. It is not straightforward. Is it straightforward? If I take A plus B, whether it will give C immediately, if you mix this, what are things required? Temperature required. Okay. If not, without temperature, I want at room temperature. A plus B should give C. Catalyst required. Okay. Anything? Okay, both A plus B solid. If A plus B is solid, definitely temperature is one of the criteria required to make a reaction between the two. If it is a two liquid phase, how you can get room temperature? You can get. You can change the precipitation condition, solubility. If A plus B you add together, if the C is having the lower solubility, the C will get precipitated, right? I forgot on chemistry. Actually, I am not doing, frankly speaking, I am not doing any, sir was explaining so much of chemistry in the morning. I am not handling any, very little chemistry I use. Even if you ask, I may not be able to answer pure chemistry questions. I am making this, mixing together, blending, making some shapes. My time goes like that. Okay. Now, as I understand from the literature only, or what we studied, we traditionally it is being called as solid phase synthesis, liquid phase synthesis, or gas phase synthesis. Right? This you have in your syllabus, like this. If it is there, I will skip these 2 slides. Otherwise, I feel it is very basic maybe. Okay. Solid phase synthesis, liquid phase, gas phase. Now solid phase synthesis. So one is, as I told, from the mines we get the material and crush it, make it smaller particles. So that is crushing, that is by mechanical means, or pulverizing. Pulverizing means crushing and breaking. Then types of mills, different types of mills, ball mill, accretion mill, vibratory mill, fluid energy mill, etc. are used. You might not have heard about this, right? Ball mills, you have heard. Then another, for example, porcelain or refractory brick or porcelain are prepared by crushing the natural minerals, not the final refractory or the tiles, the raw material for the tiles, prepared by crushing the natural minerals. This can be one type of solid state synthesis. In the solid state, they break it to powder, make the small powder. From that, you have to make a shape, liquid shape. First is the powder. Then another is the high temperature. As you told, high temperature, there should be, basically there should be some energy. We should cross over the energy barrier to get the product, right? A plus B to give C. So, simplest is the thermal decomposition of a solid. Magnesium carbonate, heat it, what happens? It will become magnesium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide will go as a gas, and a magnesium oxide solid you will get. That is the simplest reaction. Even ceramics or any material preparation person or researcher or your MSc project something, you do simplest. You take one carbonate, heat it. Identify the carbonate by X-ray method or any other, characterize it, that is very important. Then heat it to high temperature, find out what exactly temperature will. There are also other methods to find out at what temperature it decomposes. Okay. Then you get the product, take the X-ray. Starting material is magnesium carbonate, final material is magnesium oxide. That is by decomposition. Then solid state reaction, A plus B, mix it together and heat it at high temperature, it will react and give C. Then oxidation reduction reaction also solid state, classified sometimes as solid state reaction. Next. Another is the liquid phase synthesis. Liquid phase synthesis, desolvent method. Solvent is physically removed from the solution to increase the concentration and precipitate out the solute. A solute is put into a solvent. If you heat it slowly, what happens? Solvent will evaporate. Powder, the solid will get precipitated. The desolvent method. Otherwise, precipitation. Solute is prepared from the solution by precipitation. How it is done? Aluminium hydroxide is precipitated from aluminium chloride by adding ammonia solution. Aluminium chloride you add to water and change the pH, add ammonium hydroxide. So aluminium hydroxide will get precipitated. Aluminium hydroxide, you filter it, remove the water, you get the solid mass, that is aluminium hydroxide. You heat it to high temperature, aluminium hydroxide, water will get evaporated or removed, and then aluminium oxide you will get. That is the simplest method to make aluminium oxide ceramic material. You can try it. You have aluminium chloride in your lab, mix with the water, add ammonium hydroxide, you will get white precipitate. You heat it to high temperature, you filter it and get the powder, then heat it to high temperature, you get aluminium oxide powder. But you have to confirm that aluminium oxide form by taking X-ray diffraction patterns. Okay, next, there is the liquid phase synthesis. Next is the gas phase synthesis. If two A and B are in the gaseous form, then it is called as gas phase synthesis. Synthesis from gaseous state by precipitation either into the form of a thin films or crystalline particles, nanopowders can be made by these methods. One method is physical, PVD. PVD is done, PVD in this Bangalore city. I was not worked in this area. I am just giving as introduction for continuity. In NAL, one group is working on PVD and another group also they are doing some work on CVD also, chemical vapor deposition. What in PVD, physical vapor deposition, what they do is raw material is vaporized at high temperature by an arc or plasma and condensed to a fine powder by rapid cooling. solid is vaporized and then condensed so that fine powder is deposited. It can be a fine powder particles or thin films. And evaporation, condensation, etc. are the different techniques. Then chemical vapor deposition from a chemical, from a liquid phase. It is a gas-phase reaction. Synthesis through the chemical reaction of the vapor of a metallic compound like CH3SiCl3 plus hydrogen gives silicon carbide, or silicon tetrachloride will decompose or react with another compound, gives silicon carbide. So chemical vapor deposition. Next, these are the generally followed methods in any book, material science book. General small material science book, if you say take and look for it, you will get this physical method, chemical, solid state method, liquid phase method, etc. Now in the recent days, people will talk about, when they talk about nanomaterials, two approaches. How to get any material, need not be nano, even micron level or bigger.